Table manners for your doodle. We're going to approach this topic from the doodle's perspective so we can get a better understanding of what we need to keep an eye out for while we are working on our doodle elevated, for example, on a table. I gotta get used to staying still. I'm so used to running around, going wild and being goofy, so please help me change that default for grooming. We need to be our doodle's help for changing their behavior, for turning into grooming mode. So first we need to satisfy their need for exercise, body and mind, and then they're gonna be able to work with us on the table calmly. A good run, swim, fetch before grooming makes me much more chill fluffball for you. It's super important. Again, it's just as important as bringing the doggy for the grooming appointment or preparing your doodle for grooming at home by you. Runs, swim time, playing fetch, incredibly important again. When you move, I'll move, unless you tell or sign me otherwise. We're going to learn about table manners for you as well, but I wanted to leave it here that whenever we move, that's an encouragement for our doodles to move with us. They are pack animals, they will go with you, unless you tell them otherwise or sign them. I really like either verbal cues or body language because that's going to be the way that they're going to understand us and we can work with them. Give me clues, verbal, hand signals, body language, what you do want me to do while you need to move or need me to do stuff for you. The lack of signals mean I can be creative and come up with my own strategies and movements, and rest assured, I will. Whenever we need to reach for a tool, or we need to change positions, or pull our pants up, anything really, we need to keep an eye out for the doodle's behavior. So we need to give them signals that, hey, I want you to stay there. Or whenever we want to blow dry the belly, for example, or brush the belly, we want them to stand up or lay down, whatever is best for your doodle in that situation. So we can always ask them to do stuff for us. It's not like you have to pull your doggy around all the time or use grooming loops and stuff to keep them standing. We can absolutely ask them to do stuff, just like when you ask them to sit down or lay down or stay there or do shake or roll over. They can do and perform for you on the grooming table as well. We just need to practice this up front before you would reach for any kind of tools. So they will know what are your signals. And that's why I find it very, very important to find one good care provider for your doodle or do it yourself, because it takes a while to get used to the body language and the behavior of the care provider. So about the doodle's behavior for the care provider. So whenever you have a well-oiled machine and you can dance together, it's just like dance. Whenever you have a new partner, it takes a while. Or whenever none of you can dance and you try to do it with a new partner, then it's going to take a while until you get the hang of it and stop stepping on the other person's feet. So yeah, it's the same with doodles. You need to pay attention, take the time, and preferably have one groomer for your doodles so they're going to be able to adjust well. With high energy level doggies, it's critical because they react so fast. So in case they are with a new person, while they are learning the new person's behavior and while the new person is learning their behavior, there can be tricky situations. So we want to avoid providing any kind of space for errors like nicks and jumping off of the table and cases like that. So having one groomer or doing it yourself and getting your dog used to one person or you will give you a huge advantage, and your doggy is going to be able to perform much better. I need to learn the edges of the table and how far I can go towards the edge. Actually, both of you need to learn this, but from doodle perspective, we really need to take the time to show it to our dogs that, hey, this is the table. While the table is on low setting, we move it down. And then we let the doggy know, like, hey, this is the edge. And I want you to put your paw on the edge of the table while I'm supervising. And I want you to understand that if you step down there, then you're going to fall. Especially fall when the table is up high. So once they understand this, they can keep the edges in mind just like we can whenever we are in a similar situation. So we can teach our doodles to be aware of the edges of the table, so you don't have to use grooming loops and other kinds of crazy stuff. I do better if we practice positioning first and adding equipment after I can stay on the table while both of us are comfy. Critical, again, practice with your doodle before you would grab any kind of equipment. Understanding that doodle dance, what you two will do together, is incredibly helpful if you practice it up front. So, for example, you wouldn't do a dance competition without practice, right? It's the same thing. We're not doing doodle grooming, especially not full body grooming, whenever we are dealing with a beginner. We need practice, and it's not just the groomer's responsibility to get your doggy used to grooming steps, but so is yours as dog mom or doggy dad. So we need to practice. Actually, I would say it's even more than 50% of the parents' responsibility, because with grooming, we are more likely just checking what the doggy is capable of, and we can play around the behavior, but I highly not recommend to force the doggy to do stuff what they are not comfortable with. So practicing at home and preparing your doodle to sounds, different kind of smells, sensations, new environment, new people, that's going to be huge, and it's actually more than 50% of the whole preparation. So doing all that will give you huge advantage of keeping your doodle still for brushing, combing, and even for a full haircut at the groomer.